Hey guys, good afternoon. Just wanted to go live today with something I did with my teen club. So, my teen book club was doing a very interesting book in February, Who Moved My Cheese, which is actually very short. It's about 35 pages long, but so profound in what it teaches, specifically to teens. This book is not for teenagers, but it's specifically for that. So, before I start talking about it, I just want to start with a question. Have you ever felt stuck, frustrated, or resistant to change? Think about it. Maybe you worked hard for something only to find out that the opportunity suddenly disappeared. So, today I really want to dive into this powerful lesson of adaptability. And the book Who Moved My Cheese really relates to that topic of adaptability and connects to my monthly topic of emotional intelligence. This book is by Dr. Spencer Johnson. It's very simple, but so profound about change and the way that we react to change, and how the way we react to change actually determines our success in life. And guess what? Emotional intelligence plays such a huge role in how we navigate life in its unexpected twists. So, like I said, I covered this book in my teenage club in February, and we had an incredible discussion with the teenagers. Although this is really not a story for teenagers or just for teenagers, I found that teenagers today are so not equipped into life skills. They don't know how to handle changes. And so, that discussion we had helped other teenagers see and navigate through those unexpected changes. So today I really want to dive deeper into how this book connects to emotional intelligence and why our adaptability, our ability to adapt is so crucial for success. Because change happens to all of us, whether it's in school, at work, in relationships, or even in your personal growth. If you don't know how to respond to change, then you're not going to be able to succeed much in life. But also, how we respond to change depends on our emotional intelligence. So, the book, and I'll give you a very brief synapse of what the book is about. It has four characters. Um, there are two mini humans and two mice that the book is talks about. So it's very simple, like I said, but very powerful in those four characters. And in a minute, I'll explain how those four characters um, adjust or suggest a different reactivity to or reaction to adaptivity. So those four characters live in a maze, right? And they search for cheese, and it represents the cheese actually represents success, happiness, security, something we're comfortable with, our comfort zone. So when those four characters, two people and two mice, find the cheese, and it just explains that story, they're so happy and they feel very comfortable. And of course, they feed off that cheese and they enjoy. And one day, the cheese disappears. And each of these characters responds differently. So Sniff and Scurry are those two little mice. And when the cheese disappears on them, obviously because they fed on it for some time, and then eventually it's gone. So what they actually did, the two mice immediately accepted the change and went to look for new cheese. And they found new cheese in small short supply. They would eat it and then right away jump and find another one. Whereas Hem and How, which are the two little people, really struggled to adapt. Ham resisted, he refused to accept the reality, and that's why the name is Who Moved My Cheese. He couldn't understand how this huge pile of cheese disappeared. And think about this pile of cheese as huge success when you're comfortable with what you have and all of a sudden it's all gone. So he really refused to accept that reality. And then how slowly learned to adapt. It took him some time to accept it, understand it. He started adapting it, and then eventually he embraced the change. So before I continue, just think about it. Do you resist like Ham? Do you adapt like How? Or do you move quickly like Sniff and Scurry? If you understand how our emotions really help us move forward and handle changes with confidence, then you'll know how this story teaches us the change of inevitability, and how we respond really determines whether we stay stuck or move forward. And each of these characters really represents different reaction, because if you look at each of these characters, these are the different reactions that pretty much all of us have. So Sniff and Scurry, these are the two mice. They don't overthink change. They accept it and they move forward immediately. They represent adaptability and resistance. Ham, he's afraid of change. He refuses to adapt. He hopes things will go back to normal. But if you think about it, you ate that cheese. It's not coming back to you. But he represents the resistance of the situation and emotional, not I would say not enough emotional intelligence to actually accept the change and move forward. How resists it first, but he learns that just to get stuck at the moment doesn't help. So he embraces the change. He grows stronger because of that change, and that represents personal growth and development of emotional intelligence. So, emotional intelligence, EQ, which I covered over the last 2 Mondays, is our ability to recognize, to understand, and to actually manage emotions, both in ourselves but also in others. I want to focus on the main 4 components. There are 5 components, but I really want to focus on self awareness, self management, social awareness, and relationship management. Self awareness is recognizing how we feel when we face with a challenge. Self management is controlling our relationship, our reaction, instead of panicking or resisting. Social awareness is understanding how change affects those around us. And then relationship management is communicating and working with others through different transitions. So back to those 4 characters, because I think it's the best way to represent those different EQ levels. Sniff and Scurry have high self-management and adaptability because they were able to just pick themselves up, move forward. Ham has low self-awareness because he avoids discomfort. And How learns and builds the resistance over time. Yeah, change is not great, and sometimes it's hard. But if you learn how to build that resistance over time, it helps in so many different aspects. Just think about it. 2 people get fired from their job. They had the same job, same credentials. One can just sit down and dwell and say, oh my God, I've spent so many years at that job, and now what am I going to do, and how am I going to find? The other would just get up and start working towards finding a new one, finding a way to overcome this challenge. Life is full of challenges. It's how you embrace those challenges and what you make out of it. So what are some strategies I can give you to embrace change with emotional intelligence or with EQ? First of all, shift your mindset. Instead of saying, why did it happen to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Change isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. And if you hang out with me long enough, I always say life happens for us, not to us. If somebody is no longer in your life, there is a reason for it. It is for you, not to you. Move on. Move past this. The second way for you to embrace change is recognize those emotional triggers. What emotions come up when things don't go as planned? Awareness is really the first step to control your response. And in the book that I was covering before, Let Them Book, in my book club Monday, we just talked about it. We get upset because we're trying to control others. And we get hurt because we have expectations from others. If you cut down your expectations, and if you understand that you cannot control other people's behavior, you can only control how you react to their behavior, then you would be able to recognize those emotional triggers. The third method is build resilience. And how do you build resilience? You do that through small changes. Start embracing small but intentional shifts. Take a different route to work. Try a new skill. Switch up your daily routine just so you can strengthen your adaptability muscle. How many of us drive to work, we don't even realize how we get there, or anywhere, visit someone, you don't even realize because you're so used to a specific route. So then what happens if they block the street? You start getting frustrated because now you have to figure out how do you go around that blockage and how do you really get to your destination. So if you alter that before you have to deal with it, you're actually adapting to those changes. Stay curious, stay open-minded. Like Sniff and Scurry, it's a great way to explain it because they keep their eyes open for new opportunities, and that's what you should do. Keep your eyes open. There are always new opportunities. Instead of waiting for things to return to the way they were, things don't return to the way they were. It's our false hope that people will change, circumstances will change, things will get better. It gets better when you stay open-minded for the new opportunities. Manage fear, really. And fear is one of the most common things that really triggers our emotional response because it's the fear of the unknown. We're all afraid of something we don't know, and it's normal. But how do you talk to yourself actually matters. Replace "I can't handle this" with "I'm learning and growing through this." It's okay to be afraid, but it's how you deal with the fear that you actually can move past it. Change is very uncomfortable, but it's also the key to growth. The next time your cheese moves, ask yourself, will I be him? Will I be Ho? Or will I just be Sniff and Scurry? The choice is yours. Everything we do in life is full of choices. And the better life is outside your comfort zone. We sometimes don't want to leave our comfort zone. We're so comfortable where we are. We don't want to adapt to change. Change is really hard. Yes, it is hard. But if you know how to deal with it, better life comes behind it. I would really love to hear from you. Have you ever had this "who moved my cheese" moment? How did you handle it? I would love to hear your comments. And if you want to strengthen your emotional intelligence and resilience, stay connected. Join me on my upcoming workshops. Join me on my book clubs. Join me when I just get inspired and I want to go live. Because I think it's important that we all learn from others. We always learn. And the way we learn is through other people's experience, or at least smart people learn from other people's experience. So tune in, share with us, and I would love to hear your thoughts, guys. Stay connected and stay emotionally resistant. Bye, guys.